is. And I firmly believe this. To me, home is where I can freely and comfortably express my childish self, even though I'm 50 years old. But I'm also a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 10-year-old. I want to be able to tell stupid jokes that sometimes do not make any sense, and trust me, they never make sense. I want to be able to talk all day about my obsession with Harry Potter, Pikachu, Doraemon, and pick up lines. But most importantly, home is where there's support and love for me. That's what home is to me. Everyone defines the word home differently. So while you listen to my talk, I want you to think about what does home mean to you as a person, and how would you all feel if you lost it. We live in a complex world with diverse people, cultures, traditions, religions, and languages. Every individual somehow contributes to the changes in a society. Therefore, we should acknowledge and celebrate our variation in culture and identity. I grew up in a rural part of Cambodia with limited access to divergent worldviews. About 5 years ago, only a small percentage of the villagers had access to any modern technology. It was a really small village, so we only interact with the same group of people all the time. There wasn't much cultural exchange among us because we have so much in common already. Yet now, it is changing drastically. Today, almost everyone has smartphones and access to the internet and are therefore more aware of the changes in their society and the world. Despite having access to the internet and connection to different places, their understanding of human differences are still limited. Despite those limitations in my community, I was taught by my parents and relatives about Cambodian culture and costume, the religion of the people, and the minority of my country. And as I grew older, I was exposed to various people from many different backgrounds from whom I could learn. About 2 years ago, I went to Mandalgiri for a school project called Hidden Voices. Mandalgiri is that red spot right there. And we traveled to many different provinces to discover old Cambodian songs, those who could still sing them, and their personal stories. And as the ending product, we recorded a podcast narrating different backgrounds of songs and singers that we discovered. We have interviewed many others and visited one of Cambodian minority group, the Phnom community. The Phnom are known to live in Mandalgiri for about 2,000 years. They used to live in houses made out of bamboo, natural material, and thatch. They have their own language with Khmer alphabet, as well as belief, music, and culture. When we were there, they hosted a traditional welcoming and golak ceremony for us as visitors with music and wine, which our teacher had to drink it as a representative of all of us because we were too young. As a majority in this country, we, Khmer people, had a huge influence to those Phnom community lifestyle. It wasn't my first time visiting a Phnom village, so I could see the dramatic changes in their society because of our influence over time. I noticed that more people could speak Khmer, as before only Phnom men could speak the language. And nowadays, if Phnom children are born, they start to learn both languages right away, Khmer and Phnom. And less people know how to play the traditional instrument and the music. Their clothing and houses are more modern. I, along with my teammates, interviewed an old man, one of the elders in the community, and he stated that I never used to worry about the extinction of our culture. But when I think about it again and again, I notice that it's fading. The old man could still remember what their community was like and had witnessed the changes firsthand. What about the next generation? Will they be able to interact with their amazing culture? What about those refugees who become the minority group in another country? Imagine yourself in their shoes. how much would you have to go through to preserve your culture as well as striving to assimilate to the community that you live in? I bet everyone here knows a country called Myanmar, formerly Burma. Myanmar is a country located in Southeast Asia, consisting of 100 ethnic groups. The country is bordered with India, China, Laos, Thailand, and Bangladesh. The country is led by the Nobel Peace Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi. So right now, as we all sit here in this luxurious theater, Rohingya people, part of the Muslim minority, are fleeing to join the more than 600,000 refugees that have left Myanmar to Bangladesh since August 25th. Those people were forced to leave their home because of the persecution from the other ethnic group, specifically the Myanmar troops, and most of whom are Buddhist. Many lives are taken and families are separated. In a situation like that, what does home, culture, and safety mean to them? Where we love is home, home that our feet may leave, but not our heart. We can think about culture this way. If a community is a computer, then culture is like an operating system. It's what keeps people together and bonded. According to an article from ABC News that talked about some counseling work done with Rohingya refugees, most refugees, including children, are traumatized by the horrifying event that they experienced. The question now is, how would they, specifically children, live a normal life after being forced from their home and everything they know? There are literally thousands of heartbreaking stories, but I would like to share one that stuck with me most. A pregnant woman in her mid-20s trying to cross to Bangladesh just like the others. Sadly, before she could make it, she had to witness the death of her husband and relatives, the loss of her one-year-old child, and she gave birth to a newborn. She walked days alone with her baby to the safety of Bangladesh. As a mother, as a father, as a child, seeing family members going through those tragic experiences, at that moment, getting away from being abused for safety is their only priority. The word home and safety just meant seeking shelter and having enough food to eat daily. What about culture? Does it mean anything to them? What keeps them together? There's no answer. Becoming a minority group in another country means facing with many challenges such as exclusion from a society, adjusting to a new place, and having one's culture be somehow less appreciated. Therefore, it is really important to teach young people about the variety of culture in this world so that we could help to raise awareness and prevent any form of discrimination towards minority groups, including refugees. It is our responsibility to preserve different culture and accept those people without pressuring them to adapt to the majority norm. Yes, I understand that the world is changing, as well as the people inside it. Our world is developing with modern technologies, artificial intelligence, and so much more that make our lives so much easier. But at the same time, we're also faced with culture blending, beliefs, and different ways of living. We must understand where we come from, our home and unique culture. We live in a world with other 7.6 billion people. We must know what keeps people together, a knowledge of differences, as well as our history. Appreciate what we have before it turns into what we have. Thank you.